The number one reason that women find you unattractive is that you're too short. I'm joking. The actual first of five reasons that women find you unattractive is your physical appearance. Now, this isn't just clothing, it doesn't mean you have to go buy designer clothes or anything, but it can mean how you present yourself. So, for some people, if they're not in the gym, if they're more skinny or more fat, it would help them to have better clothes, to be wearing sort of more well thought out fits, more color matching, that type of stuff. But I'd say a better way to do this is to just improve your body. It's to go to the gym and build an aesthetic body or just to put more muscle on your frame. You don't have to have that fully shredded type of physique, but if you do just have slightly bigger shoulders, just a well-developed back, chest, arms, it will appear through your clothes. And no matter what you're wearing, as long as it's, a little bit thought out, it will show to other people and women will be more attractive to you. But the most ideal thing here is to do both. Improve your style a bit. You don't need these designer clothes, don't need expensive clothes, but just some well thought out fits. Get some flannels in there, get some, not just a hoodie that everyone has, but something more unique looking and have more well thought out colors. And you can get a few pairs of shoes, always have Air Forces on deck, so you have white shoes, have different sneakers for the gym versus when you're going out. Just put some thought into this and you don't need to go too extreme. The second reason is hygiene, and the other three reasons in this video are more of stuff you don't hear often, but if you don't get these first two right, which is physical appearance and now hygiene, you have no chance. And with hygiene, I don't mean just brushing your teeth, which I hope you are doing twice a day, but I mean also the way that you groom yourself. How often are you getting haircuts? Does it look overgrown? Because you don't need to go every 2 weeks, but if it looks like you haven't gone in like a month or 2 months, then you gotta fix that. And if you don't know, then ask some of your friends. And what you should get for your haircut is a fade on the sides and a fade into your facial hair if you have facial hair. So you can see here, my cut, it's been kind of like a week, maybe a week and a half since I got it. And so the fade kind of is gone, but I had like a skin fade here. And the biggest thing you want to do is have like a contrast between the top of your head and the side. And so you can see how my hair is longer at top, less hair here, and it actually faded into my beard here, but it already started growing back because my testosterone's so high. And that contrast in the middle between having more hair here and more hair here is more attractive than having everything be one or having more hair on your sideburns, less on the chin. You don't want that. And if you don't believe me, you can look up other sources online for what is the most attractive to girls on guys, facial hair wise, face shape wise. And the final part of your hygiene and physical appearance is how low body fat percentage your body is, and in particular your face, because this can be very genetic. For some people, I have some friends that have a full six pack, but they'll have like a double neck still. And I'm like, what the hell? Because I got lucky. For me, I will have more fat on my stomach or in other areas of my body, but my face will have less fat. And I got lucky for that, but no matter what your genetics are, you need to just focus on this. And it isn't just about fat, it's also about the amount of water and bloat you have in your face and your body. So if you're not drinking enough water, then your body's gonna hold on to more water as it doesn't expect a crazy amount from you. And that will result in more puffiness and more bloat in your face. And so how you can fix this is by having at least 2 liters of water to a gallon a day would be ideal. Sometimes I'll have even more, but I'm a pretty big person. And the next reason that girls think you're unattractive is your ability to make them feel. Now, this is a pretty interesting reason that doesn't get talked about online. I don't think it's known about online much. But I will say a lot of the advice that you will find online will kind of come from this. But I'd say this is the first principle, is that you need to make girls feel. Now, women operate a lot more through their emotions than logic. That is a fact. I hope you know that at this point. But if you didn't, that's the cheat code to life. If you're just trying to understand, you should never try to logic like a woman too much. And this doesn't just go with this is not misogynistic, by the way. This is just some fundamental behavior things. And if you are a girl watching me, let me ask you this. If you were going through a tough time, if you were in a mood that resulted from a fight with someone or something crazy happened and you go to someone, you're not looking for them to tell you just like exactly what you need to do in that moment. Like, what is the solution? Like, give me the logic, which is what a lot of guys will do. And I will say, guys on guys, like when you're talking to your friends, that is, I think, more ideal to talk about what's the solution, what's the logic here. But a lot of the time for a woman, you want to be more empathetic in those situations, right? If I had a daughter and she came home crying to me, I'm not going to be like telling her some like tips on how to be happy. I'm not going to teach her how to meditate in the moment. I'm not going to, be like, like, this is like a really good tip for becoming aware of your emotions right now. Like, I'm going to listen to her. I'm going to be present. I'm going to be aware, and I'm going to be there for her, right? And I'm not saying that you need to like this tip only works if a girl's crying, but I will say that if you are able to make a girl laugh, if you're able to tell stories in a dramatic way, like, like really capture someone's attention in a way, which obviously I'm making YouTube videos, so this is what I'm practicing here, but it really does translate to real life, to like when you're around people, and especially to girls. And if you ever seen any of those shows that are like 8v1, like blind, so like they'll have a girl and then they'll have 8 guys lined up and they'll cover them all up so they're all blind. Not that they're blind, but the girl just can't see them and can only rate them based on their answers to the questions she's asking. She'll always go for the ones that are more, that'll make her laugh, that she just seems more interested by. And it's usually like, oh my God, like she's either laughing at a joke they said, or she's like, holy shit, did he really just say that? Like in that sort of way, surprised by what they're saying, which most guys are too scared to say what's really on their mind, to say their own polarizing, their more sort of contentional, there's a good word, controversial opinions. But if you're able to make a girl like feel and get in these emotions, she'll be more attracted to you because you're so different from other people, because you're sort of polarizing, which if you don't know what polarizing means, it means being unique compared to most other things. And so if you see like a bunch of green leaves and then there's one that's red, it's kind of polarizing in a way because it's so just contrast to everything else you see. And so you go and you pick up that red leaf. And it's the same thing here when you're able to make a woman laugh, when you're able to be more controversial than other people, then you'll be more attractive in her eye. But you don't want to take this too far. You don't want to be emotionally manipulative too much, and you don't want to like make her cry or anything, obviously. And you want to be just building the skill of being a more charismatic, like more entertaining person, or I'd say that's the best way to go, honestly, because if you go down the dramatic route, like this is why a lot of toxic relationships still exist, if you think about it. And this is kind of the opposite of this video's topic, but I think it's still important to mention that, like, why would someone who's in a toxic relationship, who is verbally getting assaulted, like going through all this, why would they keep going back to that same person? I think a big reason of it is that us as humans, we're just so attached to our emotions. And emotions attached to anything just makes us want to go back to it. And so even if it's a negative emotion, even if it's this dramatic thing, like crazy shit happening, abuse, like they'll still go back to it because it's so polarizing and so different than the reality. I'm sure there's a better scientific answer for that, but that's just what I've observed. And so the fourth reason that girls think that you're unattractive is your level of presence. So this is kind of more of that spiritual voodoo stuff, which I don't want to get to, I don't want to push anyone off, but this is extremely important and it will set you apart from everyone if you're able to implement this. So you might have heard of presence online, and just, you gotta stay present, man, like be in the moment, like you're in your head all the time in the future and past. And it sounds very like, my head goes to this guy on Florida, like tripping on a beach, like looking up at the sky, smiling, and he's like a surfer bum. I don't know what pops into your head when you think of presence, but for the sake of this video, what it means is that if you're with a girl and you're hanging out on a date, imagine that you don't have any of your attention on her. Imagine that you're thinking about like a business you should be starting, you're thinking about the sports you're playing with your boys, you're thinking about video games, or even that when you're not thinking about any of that stuff, but you're looking at her, she's saying something, and your mind is just like ADHD in a way, like you're unable to like fully listen to everything she's saying, and maybe you're just looking at stuff like a tree behind her or whatever, or maybe you're so nervous that you cannot pay attention to her. You're like thinking about how you can fail so much. You're anxious about what could go on. And so you never like fully listen to what she's saying. And then you come across as awkward and that you're not really there, which she will find so unattractive. And so the way that you can solve this is through meditation. So meditation, I'm sure you've heard of it, and it might be some monks that were meditating or some YouTubers that told you to do it, but all it is closing your eyes and breathing. And so it's so simple. It's the most simple thing to do, but it's hard to stick to. And so as you do it for the first time, you're going to start randomly thinking about random thoughts. You'll start to have random images pop up in your head. And what you want to do is that you start by thinking, like feeling your breath, so focusing on your breath going in and out. And then as soon as your mind starts thinking about something and then you remember that you're meditating, you go back to your breath. You snap back to it. And you're trying to practice just keeping your attention on that one point, on the breath, on your nose, on your stomach, whatever you feel in the moment, for as long as possible without thinking. And I got this wrong for literally 2 years. I think I wasted probably my first like 300 times I meditated. I didn't fully understand what I was doing. And the greatest like tip that I learned from those mistakes was you need to focus on one point and work on just expanding that longer and longer. And this is your level of concentration, your level of willpower in the moment to be able to focus on one thing. And so this applies so heavily to when you're talking to women, because when you're there in the moment and when you're talking to her, in order to be the most attractive, the most authentic, the most you that you can be, you need to be so in the moment that you're able to respond to everything she's saying, to little gestures in her face, to like really understanding where she's coming from when she's talking about something. And that will make you appear so much more attractive and more attentive. It will make you seem like you care a lot more about what she's talking about, what she is, because you are. It's not fake, you know? And if it is fake, like if you are just kind of like going along, coming up with some clarifying questions based on what she's saying, like it's not genuine that you give a shit of what she's saying. One, you probably shouldn't be around someone like that if you really don't care that much. But two, it comes across as fake. Like if they are really attractive and you're doing that just to hang out with them more, do whatever you want to do, it's going to come across as fake. It's a lot easier to be genuinely interested in what they're talking about. And doing this meditation, so starting with 5 minutes, getting that up to 20 minutes, 30 minutes, that will make such a huge difference in when you're talking to women. You will seem so much more attractive. And that leads into the final reason, and it's a level of purpose. So even if you're very present with a woman and you're talking to her and very attentive to what she's saying, you're joking, you're entertaining, whatever, she will like probably pick another guy who is more on his purpose than you, who is just addicted to her. And this is a more controversial topic, I would say, on the internet, because if you were to ask a lot of girls, like even friends, this question, I feel like a lot of them would say that they want a boyfriend who would dedicate a lot of their time to them, who will spend most of their time with them, who will sacrifice other things in their life to spend time with the girl. But I think for long-term relationship stability and for just overall attraction, having a purpose, having something that you value greater than any relationship that you would have with a woman will make you be much, much more attractive. And so what I mean by purpose is basically what I was saying, like you prioritize something in your life. And this could be a business. This could be a goal. This could be you getting an aesthetic body. This could be you getting powerlifting goals, entering competitions. This could be fighting, entering competitions. This could be having a business, a dropshipping business, an agency business, a YouTube business that is generating you money and you're pouring most of your time into that. That is so much more attractive. When you tell a girl like, oh, sorry, I'm working, like we can do later. Like when you tell her that versus like, oh, like I'm working, but yeah, I'm free. Like, let's talk. Like, oh, I'll come over. Like, I was doing something, but I'm not. Like, what do you think? What do you think is more attractive? And obviously, like, a girl will be happy that you're, like, going to spend time with her in the moment. But over time, this is not attractive. This is, like, you just seem like a low-quality person. Like, someone who doesn't have better things to do, who doesn't have his priorities straight, and is just, like, ready to go to her. And I will say, the caveat to this is if you're not as much of a masculine person. If you're more of a feminine guy, and I don't want that to insult you if you are, but you want to be masculine, but it's not who you really are. If you're someone who values relationships and love in relationships much more than any like purpose or any thing that's greater than you. Like when I say that to you, what resonates more? If I were to give you two options, right? If you had to give up your purpose, you had to give up something greater than you for the rest of your life. You can never do that, but you can be with the woman you love, versus you can have your purpose and you will fulfill that purpose. You will serve and give to humanity, whatever you feel inside of you, but you have to give up your relationship. Which one would you choose? This is a very, very interesting question because, for me, I would give up my relationship, I think, to fulfill my purpose on this planet, which is so weird to say because I think for so long I wouldn't have said that. But if your answer to that is the flow of love in relationships, your connections with people, that is more important to you than your ability to serve other people, to give to the world, to humanity, I would say you are slightly more feminine than a masculine person. And in that case, in terms of having a level of purpose, you might want to gravitate towards someone, a woman, who has a higher level of purpose, who is someone who is chasing their career, who is on top of that sort of stuff, wants to build a business, wants to give back to the world. You might be more attractive to that type of woman if you are more open about your feminine side. You're more open about, like how much I want to spend time with you, like how much I'm like obsessed with you. That might be more attractive to a masculine woman who is, on her purpose, on that sort of stuff. So let's go over the 5 reasons again. The first one is your physical appearance. So this has to do with clothing, with going to the gym, with starting with that. And the second reason is your hygiene. So this will mean grooming yourself, obviously taking care of like brushing. And another thing I'll just add in at the other video, I don't know how many people will make it here, but if you are, you will fucking become so much more attractive off this stuff, is to fix your acne. And it's to use face wash and a moisturizer. I recommend CeraVe. You'll find them everywhere. And the guy, Brian Johnson, I don't know if you've heard of him, but he made Venmo and he also has a longevity company now. And this guy, like, he spends $2 million a year on doctors to track everything in his body to make him live as long as possible. He does that. And for him, he's still using CeraVe. So I don't know, like that's just some interesting thing to me that like if he's spending that much on his longevity and he's still using a brand that we can do, we might as well just go buy that brand. So I'd say use a moisturizer from them and use that twice a day. And the third reason is your ability to make them feel. So get better at being more entertaining, be more polarizing, saying more of those controversial opinions of yourself so you are more unique than other people. The fourth is your level of presence. So start meditating, start really being able to concentrate on one single point, whether that's inside your body or outside in the real world. And this will translate to when you're talking to a woman and you're able to listen and understand everything she's saying and respond in a nice way, in a great way. That will make you so much more attractive. And finally, it's your level of purpose. And so if you are a more masculine person, have something you're working towards, a goal you're working towards, and make your life all around that and have your woman be your second priority off of that. If you are a more feminine man, don't follow that advice. Probably don't watch my videos. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Keep tuned for more Unfiltered. Check out my main channel for more edited, more storytelling type videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.